said that friendships are something that only humans can experience? I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. We can't simply attribute human traits to animals, but sometimes you see things that make you realize that animals are quite capable of showing emotions. There are tons of examples in nature that show us that animals are capable of developing affection for each other, even when they're completely different species. And a lot of these friendships can be quite unexpected, like this dog who was depressed and his world changed when he met a very unusual friend. Do you want to know the story behind that friendship? Then stay with me all the way to the end as we explore unusual animal friendships. So get ready for some of the wildest, most random, and most unexpected relationships in the animal kingdom. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? An African elephant and a black Labrador. The first friendship on this list is one between a wild animal and a domestic one. Bubbles, the African elephant, and Bella, a black Labrador, become very good friends, and these photos are proof of that. It all started after Bella was rescued from a group of poachers in Africa who were looking to get their hands on her precious ivory tusks. She was then brought to a safari in the US where she met her new best friend, Bella. Bubbles is almost 3 meters tall and weighs at least 4 tons, but the difference in size has not gotten in the way for these two to become friends and be comfortable around one another. It must have been very rewarding for Bubbles to start such a great friendship after escaping her terrible homeland where she was not safe anymore. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. The giraffe and the ostrich. Sometimes when you have a very cool friend, all you want to do is spend the whole day with them. That was the case of Bia the giraffe and Wilma the ostrich, who became inseparable when Bia was only 3 years old and Wilma was 10. Usually giraffes intimidate ostriches, but in the case of these two, it seemed like they were very comfortable around each other in their enclosure at Busch Gardens in the US. The space where they live is about 65 acres big, which is more than enough for each of them to have their own space, away from one another. But instead, they spend a lot of time together. Bia even uses her tongue to play and explore what's around her, including Wilma. And the ostrich doesn't seem to mind that at all. The dog and the fox. These two are from the same animal family, but still it is quite uncommon to see a fox and a dog get along so well. It all started when Tinny the dog went out on a journey into the forest with his owner, Torgeir Berge, in Norway. While they were out, they met a wild fox that they named Sniffer. Since then, the dog and the fox have become great friends. Today, Sniffer follows Tinny and Torgeir as they explore the woods. Now, the best thing about having a photographer involved is that he can document this friendship as it develops. Berge's pictures have shown us that the dog and the fox are very affectionate towards each other. This shows us that wild animals are sometimes underestimated, misunderstood, and even disrespected when people don't know much about them. I mean, who would have thought that a wild fox could be so friendly? This encounter even made Torgeir take some steps towards stopping local people from hunting foxes for their fur. The chicken and the puppies. When Mabel the chicken hurt her foot, she had to move to a new home. Now, if you've ever moved places, you know that one of the most difficult challenges that come with going to a new home is being able to find new friends. But that was not a problem for Mabel. At such a young age, she was taken into a family of puppies. Due to a terrible accident, Mabel gets very cold at night. For that reason, her human owners decided to bring her inside their home, but they did not expect her to bond with these little puppies. Every time she gets cold, she hops on the basket where the puppies are kept, and she roosts over them as if they were her own kids. I'm sure all this makes the puppy's mom quite jealous, but the good thing out of this situation is that Mabel and her new friends can now make each other warm even in the coldest of nights. The orangutan and the blue tick hound. Just like hens, orangutans also have a very motherly nature. For that reason, it shouldn't come as a surprise that a kind and lovely orangutan named Saria adopted a blue tick hound as her own. What's surprising about this relationship is that dogs are usually not friends with an animal like the orangutan, but when you see the way Roscoe acts around Saria, well, you come to realize that no friendship is impossible in the animal kingdom. I mean, dogs and orangutans are from totally different worlds. One of them is native to the jungles in Indonesia, while the other one can easily be raised at your own home. But these two are different in their own way. Saria is an animal that lives in an institute for rare animals, while Roscoe is a stray dog. Their lives had a complete change when the two met one day while Saria was out, hanging out in her preserve, and Roscoe came along for a visit. It became evident that the two were lacking a real home, but they both became a family to one another. The chimpanzee and the tiger cubs. It seems like a lot of the friendships on this list have developed a relationship so deep that it looks more like a family rather than a regular friendship. And then here's another animal that became like a parent to an animal that would normally stay away from them. A chimpanzee who has raised lions, pumas, and tiger cubs. Her name is Anyana, and her extraordinary story began when she started to take care of 2 white tiger cubs. Just like any baby, the 2 tiger cubs were in need of affection. However, they had lost all hope after they got separated from their mom during a terrible hurricane. Luckily, Anyana was able to provide all the cuddles and affection that they needed. She even helped them with bottle feeding them milk and other primary needs that they had. But you can't give all the credit to Anyana. She actually learned her skills from a human named China York, who has raised some animals. After spending a lot of time with her, Anyana started mimicking the work of her human caregiver. The Cheetah and the Labrador. And here's another story from the grounds of Busch Gardens. It seems like I should make a visit to this place sometime soon. There are quite a number of unlikely animal friendships that develop in this place. The next one on this list is one between a cheetah and a Labrador. If you know anything about animals, you know that cheetahs are the fastest land animals on Earth. This fact can make anyone want to stay away from them, but this Labrador named Matini and this cheetah named Cassie developed a great friendship since they were very young. They were raised together, which allowed them to get very comfortable with each other. However, as they grew older, Cassie began to drift apart and spend more time with other cheetahs. I mean, this happens a lot with childhood friendships, am I right? But Matani and Cassie still get to hang out every now and then, and they get to visit places together to show off their friendship. The Dog and the Lion. Most of the animals that have taken a parental role in these relationships are bigger than the animals they take care of. Even the hen was bigger than the puppies when they first met, and the chimpanzee was bigger than the tigers. But look at this. A dog taking care of a lion. How is that possible? Well, this dog named Milo met Bone Digger the lion during a very unfortunate situation. The poor lion had a metabolic bone disease that made him disabled, and this tiny dog got closer in order to take care of him. I'm sure a lot of animals, and even a lot of us humans, would be cautious and scared of getting closer to a lion. But Milo was very brave and acted like a good friend. 5 years later, the lion and the dog kept their friendship going, even though the lion was more than 40 times the size of the dog, and he even plays with other dogs. It seems like his suffering allowed him to get closer to animals that he would normally stay away from. Now it's time for the day's best pick. There are a lot of dogs on this list. Dogs that become parents to unexpected species, and dogs that became friends with wild animals, and even dogs that lived under the care of animals that would have never crossed our minds. I knew that dogs were man's best friends, but it seems like they can be quite friendly to other animals as well. And the photo I have for today shows a very unexpected connection that is really going to touch your heart. That being the dog and the mouse. Sometimes life can get a bit lonely, but if you look around, there's always someone eager to be friends. And this is so real in the world of animals as well. This Dutch Shepherd named Osiris was only 3 years old when he met his friend Riffrat. At the time, Osiris was used to helping animals that needed care, but none of them were as small as Riff. Riff, on the other hand, was rescued and brought back to health when he was only 4 weeks of age. And I know mice are not the preferred companion for most of us, but this mouse was special, and Osiris was aware of that. They got so comfortable that Riff would even come and lick Osiris's ears and mouth. And no, Osiris was never a threat to the small animal. There are a ton of pictures all over the web, and there's even an Instagram account where you can see Osiris's adventures with Riffrat and other friends. If that isn't a wholesome relationship, I don't know what is. The lion, the bear, and the tiger. Oh my. The story at the top of this list looks like something out of the Jungle Book or Wizard of Oz. In fact, the name of the tiger is Shere Khan and the bear's name is Baloo. And then there's Leo the lion, whose name just seems out of place, but what matters is that these three are friends. If you go out into the wild, you'd never see these three together, but things are a bit different at Noah's Ark Animal Sanctuary in the US. These three animals were rescued from a drug lord who was abusing them to the point the Baloo's skin was getting damaged as a result of a harness that had grown into it. I guess the sad past of these animals is what brought them together. The three of them suffered at the hands of a terrible owner, but also the three of them got the chance to live a better life in a safer place together. I hope all of these stories inspire you, and I hope that they make you want to be a better friend for those around you. If animals can do it, so can we. What was the most inspiring story for you? Have you ever witnessed an unexpected animal friendship? Let us know in the comment section down below. With all that said and done, I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.